championship so close you can taste it.
Oliver Askew has won the Freedom 100.
Side by side. And your new champion, Christian Rasmussen.
Road to Indy drivers, start your engines.
My apologies to our guest from Cooper Tires, who was supposed to give the command. There was some confusion on my part, and I apologize as we heard it twice as the Cooper Tires guest giving the command to start engines. Rob Howden finishing up in Tatis Victory Lane, sprinting back up here into the tower. These back-to-back races, Rob, are, shall we say, difficult.
They definitely keep us busy, John. Back and forth and back and forth. We got the podium done, straight on into the driver introductions. I appreciate that. Again, as John had said, a good field of drivers here, 12 in total in the Indy Pro 2000 category, getting ready to start what will be their second race of the weekend, the doubleheader for these drivers. And again, getting set to go. Hunter Mackery really looking for an opportunity to turn things around. It's been a rough season so far for Hunter. Doesn't really have the results I think he expected he was going to have coming into his second year in the series. So he, of course, will put his head down and get back at it here, starting from the pole position. A great opportunity for him. But when you're thinking about championship as well, Artem Petrov just 61 points behind Christian Rasmussen. He's going to be, I think, one of the most aggressive drivers, trying to see if he can't find his way, again, up to the top of the box, get those full points, try to claw back a bit. Because the thing about Rasmussen, he's starting in third spot, but he doesn't need to win this race.
Yep.
If he gets into an incident and ends up getting taken out, that's not what you want. You don't want low points. Hey, he'll pull the. I always use the Scott Dixon reference, right? Be smart. Take the car that you have
right,
and get as many points as you possibly can. That's how Scott wins so many championships. He wins a ton of races, but when the car's not perfect, he still brings it back for massive points. And that's Christian Rasmussen with a 43-point lead right now over Braden Eves. That's over a full race distance. Full race points, he really can just take us a third place points here. As long as he's in front of Braden Eves, is still a win.
Sure, absolutely right. So yeah, he can. I don't want to say go in cruise control mode,
exactly,
but he certainly doesn't have to take unnecessary risks. He can bide his time. We know he's got the pace. He should be able to find his way to the front if he so chooses. But hey, if he ends up finishing third, he's still in command of the championship moving forward to the final rounds of the season.
Indeed, exactly that. But Rasmussen, of course, what a season it's been so far. 6 wins added on to the 12 victories that he had over 2 years in USF 2000. 3 wins in his rookie year, 9 wins last year. He has now 18 victories, only now 10 victories behind Kyle Kirkwood in the all-time win list. Kirkwood, of course, adding another one yesterday. Very impressive young driver. So we'll see how it all shakes down. Well, we got to go racing, and they're working their way out of turn 11 to turn number 12 as we get set to go for a 25-lapper here for the drivers in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Those of you joining us, Indy lights will follow, so 3 races for you. The entire road to Indy shown for you here this morning. Drivers coming out of the front straightaway as we get set to go. Mackery punching off. Green. And we are racing. Artem Petrov gets a pretty good run, though. Trying to hold on. Petrov trying to hold into turn number 1, and he's going to try to hold off Rasmussen. That was Rasmussen's idea, was to potentially get to second starting on the inside of row 1, but I don't think Petrov's going to let that happen. He'll want to push him hard going into turn number 2. It's the lead for Mackery. And indeed, Petrov holding on to the spot. And in fact, there's a good battle. Kiffin Simpson trying to get around the outside of Christian Rasmussen.
He's trying to get up into a podium spot, push Rasmussen back to 4th, and right at the moment, it looks like he was able to get that done.
He did it, John.
And there's a logjam behind him. Jacob Abel and Reese Gold right there as well.
And Jacob Abel is one of the hottest drivers on the circuit here right now. Oh, look at this big move to the inside. There's some aggressive running. And again, Gold to the outside. Christian Rasmussen getting pushed back into P5. No, he's going to hold on the outside of Reese Gold coming over to turn number 5 and 6. Abel tried to look to the inside of Reese Gold as well. Jacob on the throttle once again. He's able to slot in behind there now. So finally, drivers getting single file as they normally do, coming over Madness and into turn number 8, 9, and now down into Thunder Valley. Hunter Mackery, though, the leader here early on.
Yeah, and stretching it out just a bit over Petrov as they work their way through turn 11, back into the carousel turn for the first time. 25 laps, 5 laps longer than the race we just concluded. Go ahead.
I was going to Hunter Mackery coming off a decent start to the season. 6th in the opening round. He won the second race, 3rd in the first race at St. Petersburg, then 4th. But then he had a 10th, 8th, 7th. Just not the results that he's been looking for. Comes in 5th place in points to the event here. 199 points back. So essentially, 90 points back. So essentially out of the championship fight. That's 3 full races almost. But for him, it's about getting some race wins, right? Let's see if we can't salvage this and show people what the speed I have. A former USF 2000 runner-up, many races there, and he finds himself pulling out to a pretty decent lead here.
Simpson up into 3rd. Rasmussen shuffled back into 4th spot. Reese Gold up to 5th. Jacob Abel 6th. Braden Eves rounding out the top 7.
What a battle right now. Reese Gold trying to find a way by Rasmussen around the outside. Book it. Reese Gold around the outside, and he has gone to P4. Move Rasmussen down to 5th. And the drivers coming in behind him now would be Jacob Abel, Braden Eves, and Manuel Suleiman. Those are the next drivers. Rasmussen going in the other direction. Abel trying to close up on him now. There's your leaders coming into Thunder Valley. And you can see Jacob Abel in the red machine closing up now here on Christian Rasmussen. Point lead still 39 markers as they run on track. And to be honest, Christian Rasmussen, all he really has to do is finish ahead of Braden Eves, and he still extends the championship because Reese Gold 56 points back, Petrov 58 points back, Mackery 76 points back.
As they started, he had a 43-point bulge. Now it's still down to 37 as Braden Eves coming across in the 8th spot. So 38-point bulge. It's still more than a full race worth of points for Christian Rasmussen.
And Rasmussen is a more mature driver than he was last year. Of course, understanding that to dial this program in to try to get to Indy Lights, you got to be smart, get all the points you possibly can. Couple of big wins on the year. Is the winningest driver here in Indy Pro 2000 this year with 6 victories. Currently running in that 5th spot with Jacob Abel and the Abel Motorsports machine pushing hard. Jacob's had a pretty good run. He's worked his way up into 7th place in points after a number of podiums. 3 straight top 5s for Jacob Abel in the last 3 races, trying to see if he can't keep that streak alive. Currently running now in the 6th spot. He'll have to get by Rasmussen if he wants to get another top 5. But we're not quite done. Long way to go just early into this one. We'll complete lap number 3 next time by. 25 laps, John. A long race for the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000. But again, we extend the race distance a little bit longer to get them more physically ready to go to Indy Lights, which is longer than, of course, once you get into the IndyCar. It's something you've never done before, a full stint of an IndyCar race.
Hunter Yaney, who started shotgun on the field, I think just got by Jack William Miller. He's up into 9th right now, so good run for the Velocity Racing Development driver.
Yeah, good to see Hunter getting out there and getting racy, like you said, working his way forward here. Yaney with James Rowe Jr. right behind him. Then you've got Wyatt Prokachik there as well.
Sorry, that was Rowe. I saw him pass. I thought it was Miller. Miller's just about a second and a half out in front of Hunter Yaney, so apologies.
Hunter Mackery lap time, best lap time of 1:20.0, but the fastest lap time we've seen so far is Artem Petrov at a 1:19.977, just about a couple of tenths quicker, or a couple of hundredths of a second rather quicker than Mackery. Simpson running pretty good here in P3. Kiffin Simpson looking to see if he can't get himself his 3rd podium of the year. Finished 3rd at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and of course at Road America, wrapping things up with a podium there as well. Here's a young driver with a lot of talent, but still needs to be molded. You know what I mean? He's a raw rookie in the program here, only halfway through the season now for him. Potential issue for Hunter Yaney being told that potential loss of the front wing, so contact may be coming through there, that battle with Rowe and Prokachik. I didn't see it when he came across. Didn't seem like he had lost it. Maybe it was just precariously holding on after some contact. We'll have a look at Hunter Yaney when he comes back. And if indeed he's lost the front wing, we may see Hunter pulling off into pit lane here. Yeah, he's further back. In fact, he's followed all the way to the tail of the field and will work his way up into pit lane. So Hunter Yaney, who made some good passes, was able to get himself up a couple of spots. He'll head down pit lane to his team right here, Velocity Racing Development. They will install a new front wing for Hunter and get him back out onto the racetrack.
Jack William Miller got around Braden Eves, and that's going to open up the points battle once again up to 39 points as Eves drops back into ninth. That gives Rasmussen just a little more cushion.
Not sure what's going on with Braden Eves. I would have expected more here. The track that he's been statistically very good at. One here in USF 2000, one here last year in Indy Pro 2000 as well. Just hasn't seemed to get a handle on it. And then you got his teammate Artem Petrov up there, P3. Artem's having a really good weekend so far. Second in race number 1 yesterday, running P2 again, and trying to close himself up on Reese Gold in this championship fight. As they run on the racetrack, he's only 4 points back of Reese Gold for third in the championship is Artem Petrov. And look at this battle here. This first, second, and third separated by just over a second, John. This is not like a runaway we've seen before. These guys are all running together here, 1, 2, 3, and Kiffin Simpson starting to get racy as he's closing up here on Artem Petrov.
It's those two teammates going after it. Coming out, not Petrov and Simpson. Simpson behind him, should we say, his teammate, the 55 of Reese Gold. Christian Rasmussen sort of stabilized now at 5th position, but Jacob Abel, who was closing right on the back of Rasmussen, dropping back just a little bit. I saw a big lockup for Jacob coming into the carousel a lap ago, so he's pushing maybe a little bit too hard. Needs to back it off and cool those tires down a little bit.
Most of the field kind of separating out as they do, getting a little spaced out in terms of maybe about a second between each of the drivers. And that happens occasionally. Obviously, with the aero wash, we have the problem of getting in behind a car in a long sweeping corner where you lose the air off the front wing and just lose all that front grip. So the car wants to push, wants to have that understeer going into the corner. And that often lets you get back. So as soon as you're about the second back, you stop feeling those effects of the aero wash and the turbulent air on the car. It allows you to get that car to point forward, but you just can't get any closer sometimes. You got to kind of wait for them to make a mistake to close back up to make a move. And you can see kind of everybody separating out a little bit, except for Petrov and Simpson. Kiffin Simpson still pushing hard to stay with Artem Petrov. Tough start for Christian Rasmussen for sure. Started third position, was aggressive on the start going through turn 1, trying to see if he could get by Artem Petrov to go to P2. That was the plan that he and I discussed yesterday when we chatted on IndyCar Radio, but hasn't gone that way. He has fallen to 5th position, but still, again, even a P5 spot is beneficial and solid for him as he still holds a 40-point lead now over Braden Eves. All he had to do essentially was be in front of Eves, and he's going to stretch his point lead. That's the primary championship contender in Rasmussen. Now with 40 points up on Eves as he works to try to get that scholarship. You think about the program now, John. An extra race over and above USF 2000 for Indy Pro before we go to New Jersey Motorsports Park. These drivers go to the Oval at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Should be interesting to see who handles the Oval well. We saw Christian Rasmussen win at Lucas Oil Raceway, but Reese Gold was really good there as well. Pressured him throughout the entire 90-lap race there on that 5/8 mile oval. Well, significantly faster at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and we're looking forward to seeing them there. Then we go to the race at New Jersey Motorsports Park and cap things off here at Mid-Ohio. So still a number of races to go after this one, a total of 6 in total for Indy Pro 2000. But Rasmussen with over a full points haul of points, really in a good spot in the championship.
Yeah, and again, as they run right now with the bonus point, Rasmussen stretches it out now to 40 over Braden Eves. Eves about a second and a half behind Jack William Miller. Again, we're still not even into the second half of this race, only 7 laps into it with 18 to go. So plenty of time for Braden Eves to work his way forward. And this is, the final race of the weekend for these drivers. It's all about tire management at this point. How much rubber have they got under them to get to the end of this second race?
And not surprising why I think we're seeing Kiffin Simpson and Reese Gold look good here in third and fourth. Remember, maybe they didn't have the overall speed, outright speed to be able to win here, but we saw them in qualifying come in, just do a couple laps on those tires, essentially scuff a set, put a heat cycle into them. I wouldn't be surprised if those are the tires they're running here this afternoon, ones that when they essentially prepped for the race, giving those drivers an opportunity to come forward. And I'll tell you, Rasmussen's still a rookie, obviously, in the program. Braden Eves in his second year, as is Petrov and Mackery and Suleiman. But you look at Rasmussen, look at Reese Gold, 16 years of age, in his first year here in Indy Pro 2000, sitting third spot in points, running fourth on the racetrack right now. If indeed he were to return next year to Indy Pro, that's a guy you got to say, championship contender, number one championship contender coming back, because this kid is obviously he's young. He's still learning. He's still getting better and better. And Reese Gold's a kid that we're going to see win some races, I believe, next year if he comes back to Indy Pro.
Yeah, third in the points right now. He's still looking for that first win, but he's been on the box, 6 times.
6 times.
So, yeah. I mean, he's been close, just no cigar.
Well, and even his worst finish was 13th with an incident at Barber. Everything else, even outside if it's not a podium, 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th. He's always in the front half of the grid.
Yep.
Other than that one incident at Barber Motorsports Park. So here's a kid again. You go through a season, your first year, you get that baseline. And then at 16 years of age, he matures for another 6 months, 5-6 months from the end of the season to the start of the next season in spring training. And all of a sudden, he's a different driver when he gets here. He's already different than he was last year. And he's going to have all that confidence, another off season's worth of testing. Reese Gold will definitely be the championship contender for the scholarship in 2022. Right now, though, the primary contender to win that scholarship and move his way into the Indy Lights Series next year would be Christian Rasmussen, trying to follow in the footsteps of Kyle Kirkwood, who went back-to-back in USF 2000 and Indy Pro. Oliver Askew didn't do it. Renus VK didn't do it. Obviously, Oliver won USF 2000, but Renus came back and took away the Indy Pro 2000 championship from him. Oliver came back and ended up winning Indy Lights with Renus in second. So there's a precedent set for some of these drivers to find success here coming up through the road to Indy. And again, Kyle Kirkwood, though, this year looking to potentially be the first guy ever to win all 3 scholarships straight through and into the NTT IndyCar Series the following year. What a history-making event that would be.
Back to back to back.
Yeah.
That's and if you count his 2 championships in F4 US and Formula Regional Americas, that's 5 championships in a row.
So here's the interesting thing. He's not going to start on pole position today, right? He'll be on the off pole for Indy Lights. We'll just jump into Indy Lights a little bit while this is happening. Steve Whittick from TSOladder.com posted out yesterday on Twitter with an amazing stat. Kyle Kirkwood's never lost here. He has won 10 races over, you said, F4, F3, USF 2000, Indy Pro, and now Indy Lights. All 10 races, 10 starts, 10 wins. That's ridiculous. I don't think anybody else would have that kind of a record here at Mid-Ohio. If he continues it today, he would be Mr. Mid-Ohio. We like to throw that name at a bunch of people. Yep. When it comes to the road to Indy, Kyle Kirkwood would be Mr. Mid-Ohio if he's able to get this done. And absolutely amazing.
No question.
So we have 9 laps down. 10 laps will go into the books when Hunter Mackery brings it back around here. And this would be a huge victory for Hunter Mackery. 1.1 seconds out right now. As I said before, they've had some highs. They've had a couple of lows. He just hasn't had the speed that he's wanted, that consistent speed we normally see out of Hunter Mackery. Won the final race of the season last year at St. Petersburg. Of course, that event, normally the kickoff event, getting moved to the finale last year, and is able to cap the season there with that win. And you can see, of course, all that pressure coming off, finally able to get that win. He had been so good in Formula Ford back down in Australia and New Zealand, came up here and was a powerhouse at USF 2000. First year for Pabst Racing last year in Indy Pro, and it took him a while to get a feel for the car and get where he needed to be. At the end of the season, of course, he ends up winning. In his mind, it's like, man, I won the last race of the season. We're going to come out of the gate strong. I'm going to get it done here. He was actually able to get a 6th and then a win at Barber Motorsports Park, but then he really never got it going again. He had another good run, 3rd place at St. Petersburg, but then 4th and 10th and 8th and 7th. And when you're a guy like Mackery, 7th and 8th is not where you want to finish. Any of these guys running for championships isn't thinking about a 7th or 8th place finish.
Exactly right. As we look down the order and see what battles may be brewing a little bit, on the last couple of laps, Christian Rasmussen has been a little quicker than Reese Gold in front of him. He's got about a half a second to make up, but looks like Rasmussen just set his best lap at a 1:18.5963, so maybe he's been saving a little something, and might have something to say about the top 3 here before this is all over.
Mackery across the line again. That nice, comfortable little gap. He's settling in good lap times. In fact, just on lap 10, reset the fast lap of the race, a 1:18.344. How about Jack William Miller? Second fastest lap of the race, 1:18.46. Miller currently in the 8th spot, 1.3 behind Manuel Suleiman, and very similar lap times for those drivers as they're trying to close up here on Jacob Abel. But really, if you look at that, 1:18.4, 1:18.4, 1:18.4 for Abel, Suleiman, and Miller, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and a 1:18.3 for Mackery. Really running pretty solid lap times, just a 10th off the leader.
Yeah, that's a really good job for Jack William Miller. Started 9th already, getting around Braden Eves, which is no small feat in its own, up into the 8th spot. And he's only about second and 3/10 behind Manuel Suleiman, so 7th, certainly within his grasp before this one is all over. Christian Rasmussen continues with his lap times a little bit quicker. Jacob Abel on that last lap about 2/10 quicker than Rasmussen in front of him. And so Jacob, who really piled the pressure on early in this race, looking like he might be in a position to put a little more pressure on as we have 14 laps to go, now 13 laps to go as we complete race lap number 12.
Yeah, Jacob Abel looking for his 4th consecutive top 5 finish. Really has turned things on here through the midway part of the program here, the schedule. 3rd at Road America, I believe. Yeah, 3rd and then 5th the next day, and then 3rd here on the podium yesterday. So a couple of podium finishes, too. That changes the driver's mindset, especially when you look around and think about the guys you're racing against. You know, Jacob's a guy that doesn't have one of those long karting careers where he started racing when he was 5 years old, kind of came in a little bit later in the program.
Right. Single
Single-car team out there, doesn't have another driver to bounce data off of, but he's looking around at, racing against USF 2000 champions like Rasmussen and Eves, race winners like Suleiman and Petrov, and Mackery. So it's such a deep field, and I like the commitment that Jacob Abel is putting into this program, not only on race weekends, but away from the track as well. This guy's at Pit Fit in Indianapolis. He's doing the work off the racetrack, getting himself into peak physical and mental condition. That's what it takes to have success on this level. You really have to commit 100%. If you don't go all in, it's not going to show when you get onto the racetrack.
And he's been a teammate of Kyle Kirkwood in Formula Regional Americas.
Yes.
And I think, Kyle has obviously imbued him with that sense of confidence. And also, Kyle is also a fitness fanatic. And I think it's a good indication to just, teach Jacob how to win, how to prepare yourself both mentally and physically to be a front runner.
Yeah,
so.
Good friends with Braden Eves as well. They do a lot of karting together.
Yep.
And again, Eves obviously the 2019 USF 2000 champion. So when you have mentors like that, friends who can push you, they say you surround yourself with the people you want to be like, right? So to be able to hang with Braden Eves like he does, he's having I just love the focus of Jacob Abel right now, and the success we're seeing here over this midseason run has been great. P6 right now on the racetrack for Abel, about a 10th or a second behind Rasmussen now. And looking at lap times, he was actually about 3/10 off. Lost a bit there that last time for Abel, but settling in. He's got Manuel Suleiman behind him by a second and a half as well. Best battle we're seeing right now, I think, is Christian Rasmussen closing up here on Reese Gold to potentially try to get himself back to P4. You can see that coming out of turn number 8 right now. Little wiggle there for Kiffin Simpson coming out of turn number 9. See that a lot. The rear just taking off a little bit as you crest the rise of turn number 9. But indeed, Rasmussen in that Road Indy Scholarship colors, number 1 machine, that distinct livery of the scholarship drivers closing up here on Reese Gold. These are the two drivers that battled for the race win at Lucas Oil Raceway in the Freedom 90. And big run here for Rasmussen coming out of turn number 1. Final drivers crossing the line. Let's see what we got here further back.
Gold got a good run through turn 1, but Rasmussen, I think, lost a little ground, and that's allowed Jacob Abel to close right up on the back. We've got a 3-way battle for 4th spot now.
And you can see a little wiggle there coming into the braking zone at turn number 2, trying to get the car pointed in the right direction for Rasmussen. Light tank slapper as he was able to control that. And a lot of drivers have talked about controlling the car going through turn number 2, the keyhole, the downhill off-camber corner. Yesterday at USF 2000, drivers were all complaining the first 5 laps because of the stadium super trucks. The track was unbelievably dirty. Every corner, the rear end was really breaking loose. You almost lost it every time. Finally, the track got cleaned up and got settled in, but the first 5 laps, they said, was pretty precarious.
I can imagine, yeah. Especially offline, obviously. So
indeed. Mackery leading by 1.4 seconds now. What a big performance here for Mackery as we're going to put lap 15 in the books. We're past the halfway point, 10 to go, and he comes back around. And Mackery has not put a wheel wrong as of yet. Artem Petrov, another strong run to second place. This would be, I believe, as well, the 6th podium for... No, where's Artem Petrov? 1, 2, 3. It'd be the fifth podium for Petrov. No, 6th, indeed. I'm correct. He won at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He got the victory there. 2nd at Road America in the first race. 2nd at Mid-Ohio yesterday. Another P2 finish here would be good for Artem. And as you see, the points as they run, closing him up to within 4 points of Reese Gold for 3rd. 56 points back, so still not out of it with 6 more races still to go. And to remember as well, that race at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, the Oval, is 1.5 points.
Yeah.
45 points to win that one. So a little crucial to be able to get good success there.
Best battle is the one for third, or fourth, should we say, with Reese Gold, Christian Rasmussen, and Jacob Abel all running within just over a second and a half of each other. About 3/4 of a second between Gold and Rasmussen, about a half a second to Abel as they crossed the line this last time. Wyatt Brkacek has been challenging James Rowe for the final spot in the top 10 most of the race as well, as he's been right on his gearbox, but just hasn't been able to find a way around.
Mackery still with fast lap of the race, and they keep coming down quicker and quicker and quicker as these fuel loads get lower. Mackery with a fast lap of 118.190, and although that may not seem like it's huge, if Mackery steals the fast lap away from Rasmussen, everybody else in the championship fight will be happy. You want to make sure that Rasmussen not getting as many points as possible. Eves now back by 39 points as they run on the racetrack. Rasmussen in 5th spot. Eves now in 9th position. As we said before, Jack William Miller able to slide by a number of laps ago. So the championship implications of a tough weekend here for Braden Eves. Again, 5th place yesterday, running in the 9th place today. Definitely not what he was hoping for on a track that he is, again, very, very good at. We expected him to come in here and battle for race wins.
Yeah, sure did. It's kind of a surprise that not only did he qualify as lowly as he did, but he hasn't been able to move forward quite as much as we would expect. In fact, he's actually lost a place from where he qualified. So Braden just not finding the formula here this weekend to run the car at the front.
And we look back at last year, right? Who were the race winners when we were here for a triple header? It was Braden Eves, Artem Petrov, and Stingray Robb. Those were the drivers able to get wins. Stingray, of course, moving up with the scholarship to Indy Lights. Eves just not finding success, but here's Artem Petrov again, a win last year and a couple of second-place finishes potentially in the bag here for today. So it's been a good one for Artem. I know he came in wanting to win because of the victory last year, but a couple of second-place finishes have really solidified where he is in the points as well, and he could eventually potentially battle Eves for that second spot. If not, Rasmussen, all it takes. And listen, Christian Rasmussen won the first 7 races of the season last year. Literally, he was the guy where this guy is going to storm to the championship. He had a 90-point lead or something crazy by the time we got to Indianapolis on Labor Day weekend with our, of course, altered COVID schedule. Couple of DNFs essentially at Indianapolis, and then here as well went off on the opening corner of the opening lap from pole, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point lead. Right. So we can say, hey, you know what? 39 points back, Eves. Rasmussen's not done here, and he's been through it before, so he understands that this championship is not going to be done until he's actually locked it out, until he's clinched it, because all it takes is a one bad weekend when you're finishing at the tail of the field. Now, his only saving grace with 12 drivers in the field, even 12th is pretty good points. It's not like he's losing 30 points because there's a 28-car field or whatever it may be. It's an opportunity for him. Even dead last, he's going to be able to score a couple of points, but still, it's never over.
Yeah, and never over in this race either, because he has closed up right on the back once again of Reese Gold, 0.3 of a second at the line. So Rasmussen coming on strong here in the closing stages. Just set a 119.1945, second fastest lap of the race, only to our leader, Hunter McElroy. Jack William Miller, third quickest lap. Petrov, fourth. Braden Eves, fifth. So Jack William Miller doing a good job here this week.
Indeed, and great for Jack after that incident at Road America. This fight's really starting to pick up because Jacob Abel's getting in there as well. Abel is pretty quick because he's not that far back. There's 1, 2, and 3, but here's 4th, 5th, and 6th. You can see how close Rasmussen's getting, and Abel wanting to pull in there as well because obviously the 2 cars up front giving him even more aero in that draft, and then of course Rasmussen having some trouble in some of the corners with the aero wash, so he's doing the best he can. This is going to give Abel a chance to get in here. So with we're going to have 6 laps to go when we come back around. We may see ourselves with a 3-driver fight for 4th, 5th, and 6th. We're not done here yet at all.
Yeah, Rasmussen's car is working really well through the twisty parts of the course. He's able to get right on the gearbox of Reese Gold through the back part of the course. Gold's able to open it up just a little bit on the straightaways. Makes me wonder if he's got his car trimmed out maybe just a tad more. Either that or his tires going away.
That's it.
But nonetheless, Rasmussen able to stick right with him, and considering that aero wash, that's a pretty good run for Christian Rasmussen.
I want to look at lap times when they come back around here. Because Gold 118.3, Rasmussen 118.1. That's best. Where's the recent lap times right here? So an 18.9, 18.8, 18.8. So about a tenth of a second. I thought that Abel might have been a bit quicker because he looks like he's significantly closer. We also may see a battle between Jack William Miller and Manuel Suleiman as he is closed up a bit here. Lost a bit of ground that last lap, but you watched him close up to within 2 or 3 car lengths.
Yeah, Miller's having a good weekend here. This is certainly a good run for him. Finished 9th yesterday. Had a couple of ninths at Road America and Lucas Oil Raceway. His best finish on the season, a 6th place finish at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So this would be a good shot in the arm for Jack William Miller up into 8th and maybe 7th.
First year in the Indy Pro 2000 category after a couple of seasons in USF 2000, single car family run team, the Miller Vinatieri Motorsport operation. They've got one driver in USF 2000 as well, and Kent Vaccaro. And this is that fight we're seeing for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Mackery 1.1 seconds out on Petrov, although Artem, like he did yesterday, closing up in the late going, was able to get a tenth of a second again, so maybe we're not done with Artem Petrov.
Yeah, Abel's visibly a lot closer this time.
No kidding. You can see it visibly coming out of the corner as he is closed up. And again, last time by, Abel, a 18.8 to Rasmussen's 19 flat, gained 0.2 of a second. He's only 3.5 back, 3.5 tenths. So here comes the battle again from Christian Rasmussen. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Rasmussen back on gold. Abel back on Rasmussen.
And I think Braden Eves might have heard us talking about him because he's picked up the pace, closed it down less than a second now to Jack William Miller, and on that last lap was a couple tenths quicker.
Well, and he's got Miller and Suleiman there. There's an opportunity for Eves to get up into the 7th spot. Think about him going to 7th and maybe able to get in by Rasmussen. That would limit the bleeding a little bit for Braden Eves. But Rasmussen looking to try to find a way by to P4. I don't think he has any intentions of going back to P6. Rasmussen back up on the wheel. Good battle here, and indeed, Braden Eves in the late going here starting to close up on Jack William Miller. Lead for Mackery down to 1.2 seconds now. Both drivers turning 1:18.4 last time by, Mackery and Petrov. 5 laps remaining.
Before when they come by
Indeed.
this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting down to the knockings, as they say. And the top 3 about equally spaced, Mackery, Petrov, and Simpson. I think that's pretty stable. But the best battle, there are 2 good battles, 2 3-way battles brewing here with the Gold, Rasmussen, and Abel for 4th, 5th, and 6th, and Suleiman and Miller with Braden Eves right there for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And kind of right in the middle that we're not talking about at all is the rookie Kiffin Simpson trying to come up here for his 3rd podium finish of the year. Really strong run here for Kiffin. 3rd at IMS, 3rd as well at Road America. Could be another 3rd here at Mid-Ohio. And that has all the makings for a really fun run next year if he comes back into the Indy Pro 2000. I believe he and Gold will be 2 drivers to battle it out for the championship. But young Kiffin, first year in the road to Indy, looking very strong. And running in 3rd spot, back to the podium potentially again. There's 4 laps remaining in this 25-lapper for Indy Pro 2000. And we'll be doing it again, John. We'll do Victory Lane, Tatis Victory Lane, wrap that up, kick it back up to you, driver introductions. You throw it back down to pit lane for another group from Cooper Tires to give us the start command for Indy Lights, because we're going right back racing after this.
Back to back to back.
That's it.
I like it.
Mackery, Petrov, Simpson, Gold, Rasmussen, top 5. Abel challenging from 6th. Little gap back to Suleiman and Miller in 7th and 8th. Eves 9th, Rowe 10th, Prokachik 11th, and Hunter Yaney, as we said, a lap back, having to change that wing after the incident as he had worked his way actually nicely into the 10th position.
Reese Gold getting a little breathing room now with only 3 laps remaining. He's opened that gap back up just a bit, and that's given Jacob Abel some new life as he's closing up on Rasmussen.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that going to give Abel a chance to focus forward here? We'll see. Abel getting up there to challenge Rasmussen would be big for Gold, because Reese then would be able to realize that Rasmussen's also worried about the guy behind him and not just fully focused on trying to get by him.
And while they're fighting each other, that's allowed Suleiman and Miller to close up on them. So
I was going to say, how much faster did Suleiman go? Yeah, he was 0.2 quicker than Rasmussen. So that is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. All separated, let's say 4th back to 9th of about 4 seconds, not even 4 seconds. Over the 22-lap distance. Green to checker so far. Looking good here to potentially get this one done cleanly. Mackery, Petrov, 1-2. Hunter Mackery in dire need of a strong run like this to once again show the talent that young driver has.
He's been just unflappable at the front. It really took the lead from the pole and has not looked back. Artem Petrov, same thing, in the rocking chair in that second spot. The big movement has been from third on back as Kiffin Simpson jumping up into that third spot. And Reese Gold, also his teammate, getting around Christian Rasmussen in the early going, and it's been pretty stable since.
One of the things we love about Christian, rather about Hunter Mackery, hometown, born in, I believe, in Los Angeles, California, residence in the Gold Coast of Australia, but I believe he races for New Zealand.
Right.
I always ask him that, and it just never really gives me a straight answer that or he tells me and I can never understand it. But it's awesome to have Hunter with us here, and he's been with us since 2019. Tremendous young man. Love having his character in the paddock, and again, having a great run here. To be able to get that win again. I started the season off on a high note with a win at the opening weekend at Barber Motorsports Park, but kind of battled a little bit since then and has not been able to get the results I think that he was hoping that he would have. But this will be great for him to get back here. And then we go to New Jersey. I think we go to the Oval first at Worldwide Technology Raceway, then at New Jersey for that event. Triple header there, of course, at New Jersey Motorsports Park, back for a double header here to cap off the season in October.
White flag in the air.
Indeed, that's it. One more lap. Front three look pretty locked as they come back out of the final corner here. You see nobody really in the middle of an opportunity to battle for position. So they potentially will finish the way they are on the racetrack right now, barring any errors of the drivers on track. Hunter Mackery looking to get himself closing up in the points, for especially Rasmussen back in P5. Kiffin Simpson now with the fast lap of the race. As long as it's not Rasmussen, it's good for everybody else in the field.
Right.
But Mackery back by just 75 points right now, over 2 points, but you never know what could happen. All Rasmussen has to do is have one rough weekend, a couple incidents here and there, whatever it may be, and you can see a major swing in the championship points. So Christian's still in a good spot, 39 points ahead of Ease, but Hunter Mackery trying to make sure his name remains in this championship discussion. Drivers working their way through here down into turn number 8 and 9. There he is, turn number 9, Hunter Mackery for Pabst Racing in that black and white machine. Petrov closing a bit here on the final circuit, gets it down to 0.8 of a second, but I think it's going to be too little too late. Both he and Simpson most definitely closing. They'll work their way out of the carousel, and indeed with the drivers getting close behind, not enough, as out of the final corner, under the checker flag, hand in the air, Hunter Mackery winning in the Indy Pro 2000 championship race here. The Cooper Tires Indy Pro 2000 Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, race number 2. And Hunter Mackery from Pabst Racing, a well-deserved victory. 0.7 of a second at the line. Fastest lap goes to Kiffin Simpson, who finishes third behind Artem Petrov. So it's Mackery, Petrov, and Simpson, your top three. Third podium of the year for young Kiffin Simpson, just 16 years of age. Great run for him. His teammate Reese Gold finishing in fourth, able to get by Christian Rasmussen, the point leader, who won yesterday. Started on the inside of row 2, fell back to 5th. So although not a great day in Christian Rasmussen's mind and the expectations he sets for himself, still lots of points, and he leads with a 39-point gap.
Yeah, exactly as we talked about at the beginning with Hunter Mackery, your winner. Artem Petrov in second, Kiffin Simpson in third, Reese Gold in fourth. Rasmussen doing what he needs to do to win the championship. He's got a comfortable lead, and he can afford to give away a win or two. As long as he stays in the points, doesn't make any mistakes, he's going to be there.
Yeah, indeed. And again, numero uno, finishing in front of Braden Eves, the guy closest to him in the championship. There's the remainder of the results there. Jacob Abel in 6th, Manuel Suleiman in 7th spot, Jack William Miller 8th, Braden Eves 9th, Wyatt Prokachik in 10th, and rounding out the 12 drivers in the field, James Rowe and Hunter Yaney. A tough one for Braden Eves, a track he expected to be very strong at, ends up finishing in 9th place today. The gap now 39 points between he and Rasmussen in the championship, and the fight between Gold and Petrov for P3 very close. Petrov closing up to within 4 points of Reese Gold, and he's not out of the championship either. Drivers working their way through the carousel. I'll head down to Tatis Victory Lane. It's time to celebrate these drivers as well.
Rob, it's always great to have you with us here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Rob, of course, will be joining the IndyCar Radio Network for the Indy Lights race and the Honda Indy 200. So we'll say adieu to Rob Howden at the moment as he makes his way down to Tatis Victory Circle. And we'll be setting up for a rapid turnaround once again for the Indy Lights finale of the weekend. as, again, making up for some lost time. This race went lights to flag without any yellow flags, so we've got a little breathing room before the scheduled start of the Indy Lights race, unlike the turnaround between the last two, as our winners making their way into victory lane. The top three cars pulling into position. But we're Hunter McElray climbing out of his winning number 16. 18, I should say, sorry. As he climbs atop the cowling, gives a pat to the car, and then a big celebration for Hunter McElray as he comes home atop the box for only the second time this season, but his first win since all the way back in the second round of the season at Barber Motorsports Park. Getting congratulations from his crew. Hunter McElray in good shape.